and welcome back to Get Messy. I'm your host, Maddie, and today I'm chatting with the Beth Hawkes, the owner of Mariposa Pictures, an LA-based photography company. Beth is someone I've been admiring from afar for a long time, and getting time on the books to chat with her was very exciting for me. Beth is an actor and photographer known for capturing personality-driven portraits and filling a gap in the market by offering photos that go well beyond the traditional headshot. She loves to capture photos that make you look famous well before you actually are. We chat about the inception of Mariposa Pictures during the pandemic and how it supports her financially and creatively, how she balances two ever-changing careers, navigating the ups and downs, getting better at embracing seasons of slow, the mental resilience required to stay consistent, and a recent significant pivot that's really allowed her to level up and embrace how she's expanded as a professional. I feel like Beth is just owning the season of blossoming that she's in, and I really love to hear some of the moves she needed to make to be able to arrive at the current season she's in. She took some risks and made some bold moves that are majorly paying off. We really got to explore her positive evolution in her self-worth and embracing a new professional identity. She knew she was ready for this big change and she wouldn't let herself back down. I've also had many friends shoot with Beth and they claim she literally showers you with grade A compliments the entire time. She has a unique charm that makes you feel like you've been sharing deeply personal stories with her all your life, which is precisely why she's so great at what she does. People instantly feel like the best version of themselves in front of her lens. This was a really fun one, and I'm so excited for you guys to get to know Beth Hawkes.
I just gave you a fabulous intro, so people got to know you a little bit better. But for some of the people who don't know who you are, can you just kick off this conversation with a quick spark notes of who you are, what you do, kind of what's happening in your current stage of life?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Beth Hawkes. I'm the owner and founder of Mariposa Pictures, my photography business. It's based in LA, and it mainly focuses on portraiture for actors that's like supplemental to their traditional headshot that they already have. My little tagline is, I make you look famous before you are. And I also do events and product photos and branding photos, pretty much anything except weddings. And I'm also an actor in LA. I just finished a run of Noises Off at the Geffen Playhouse and done some guest star appearances and still auditioning. And yeah, and photography fills the void creatively and financially in between acting jobs.
Absolutely. And like I said before we got on, Beth, I feel like I've known you from afar for years because did you go to Square One with Ashley Pollard?
Yes. That's how I got hooked up with everybody, with Amy, with Megan, with Sam Valentine, like everybody. That program was huge for me in terms of kicking off my career.
It just like clicked in my brain. I think I did Square One right after you. Like I was the next time after. So I remember when Ashley and Sam got their pictures done with you. And then I worked for Sam at Fast Forward. And then Amy's my mindset coach and I'm friends with Megan.
The world is so small. And you know one of us, you know like pretty much all of us, which is crazy.
Absolutely. And it was so cool because I then started following your photography Instagram and your pictures are fucking fantastic. And then I saw Amy's and Megan's recent ones and I'm like, oh my God, these are so, so good. And so you've been shooting portraits for 10 years and you realized there was a hole in the market and you wanted to give actors photos that went beyond the traditional headshot. What was the catalyst that pushed you over the edge to actually make this a business?
It was a few things. First of all, I was looking for what I offer as an actor. Like I was looking for photos because I needed new photos and I didn't want to get the same headshots done that everybody's had. There's a few headshot photographers in the area that are so good at what they do. And I wanted something besides that. Like I wanted something a little bit more because I already have that. I wanted something that made me look a little bit more legit so that casting directors and producers would look at my materials and be like, wait a second, is she somebody? Like we need to see who this is. So I realized that I couldn't find that in an accessible way without paying just so much money. And I was like, okay, there's a hole here that I could fill. And this also happened during the pandemic, which is the whole, like my business might not have been born had it not been for the pandemic because everybody in the industry had that moment of being like, okay, if I don't have acting, what do I have? And it was scary. And at the time, like, I don't know if you remember, like everybody was like, the industry's dead, period. Like it's not coming. Like it was so bleak. And so I was, had so much time. I was living at my parents' house in North Carolina for a few months. And I was like, okay, well, I have so much time on my hands. Like, what would it look like if I took this hobby of mine and kind of made it into a business? Let me just see what it would be like to build a website and kind of what kind of branding would I want to do and what would I want to offer and all these things. And then I started to kind of be like, maybe I could actually do this. But I had put off making it a business because I didn't want to take the fun out of it, charging people. But I realized you can have both actually if you have the right business intentions and everything. And then I used my stimulus check to buy a new camera and upgrade my gear. And then I joined this program, Square One Accelerator, because I had no idea how to run a business, and that kind of helped me build out everything. And then I started doing socially distanced shoots, and then it's kind of fluctuated because I'm the only one running it. So it's kind of fallen by the wayside sometimes, it's come back sometimes. It's been a full journey over the last 5 years, but yeah, that's kind of how it started.
I love a good born in COVID business story because like you said, especially our industry, I mean, every industry, it was so shaken up where we were all like, truly, what is next? No one has any idea. So you get an opportunity to redefine whatever that looks like. And it's so funny when I first started seeing your pictures, there was a friend of mine who previously, let's say this is like 2017, 2018, and he had a headshot that was taken during a commercial print shoot. It was black and white. And he was not even looking at the camera. He was like looking off the side, but it was like a moment in time. And so it's like the anti-headshot. And his manager was like, this is unreal. Let's use this and try and see. And people loved it. He got into every audition. And like you said, it because you couldn't tell where the picture was taken, like, but it looked like it was from a magazine or it was from something like that. And whenever I see a lot of your photos, I remember that one photograph of being like, that's what you provide is this elevated picture, but yet there's something so authentic and real about the way in which you shoot each individual person. And there's a line on your website that says you have personality driven photos that actually look like you. I feel like you really captured the essence of the people that you're capturing. They all seem so at ease and comfortable, like taking up space as their authentic self in your photos. And it also looks like they're having fun, which sometimes headshot shoots, like people try to make it fun. It could feel sticky. It could kind of feel like you're in such a tight box that, I don't know, to me, it usually takes me a minute to like warm up into actually feeling like this is something fun. And usually they're so expensive. I'm like, please, 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 I hope that something good comes out of this. So how do you prepare, or what is your process for prepping with clients before they actually come to work with you? Because to me, it just feels like once you guys are there together, it's truly magic in front of the camera. Do you have a process before they come? Is it more like you guys discover it together in person? What's that like?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for all those kind words. That really means a lot. That's exactly what I strive for. But yeah, when somebody comes to me, they'll send me kind of inspiration photos. A lot of the times they'll send me my own photos that I've taken. And I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Okay.
Like we can definitely do this. And yeah, I mean, I have a whole email that I'll send out like to kind of help prep people. And one of my favorite things to do is to tell people to watch kind of those behind the scenes videos on like Vanity Fair or Vogue of like actors doing an editorial spread. And they'll kind of take BTS interspersed with an interview. And you can really see how they move, the confidence that they have. And I'm like, I say watch those because those are really like fun and helpful, but mainly it's in the moment. That's how I prep everybody. Like, well, I'll look at the looks that they have. We'll decide on what we're shooting and what kind of backdrop colors we want to use and what kind of framing they want the most of. And then I thought about this the other day. I was like, what is it? What do I do? I think a big part of it is I feel like I'm really attuned to people's energy and I try to match it and kind of pick up kind of what they need, which, if somebody comes in really anxious, I'm like, it's literally no big deal. Like, I'm just here and just me. I'm focused on a million other things. Like, you just do you. And I love connecting with my clients personally, asking them questions in between setups and during setups. We'll be talking about dating. We'll be talking about hobbies. A lot of people are like, I just left my reps. And I'm like, oh my God, like all of these things to get to know them as a person. And then I'm also like making jokes behind the camera, like to get them to actually laugh, which is where a lot of those like candid photos come into play, because my goal overall is to make people as comfortable as possible. Because I did a photo shoot, again, like another catalyst that kind of brought me to this place is I did a photo shoot with a photographer that she was completely silent behind the camera. And I was like, okay, just because I'm an actor doesn't mean that I know what to do in front of a camera that's not like a film camera. Like, I'm not Kendall Jenner. You have to tell me what to do. And I kept thinking like, oh my God, am I doing a bad job? She's not saying anything. So I was like, I have to tell people like how great they're doing, because they really are. Like, it's so vulnerable to get your photo taken and to show up and be like, here I am, like capture it. That is not lost on me. That is like the number one thing is like, I know how vulnerable that is and how insecure it can be. And my goal is to make you feel so comfortable to kind of forget that we're shooting in a sense. Like, it feels like we're two friends now. And then my favorite is I'll send the gallery and I'll be like, ha, tricked ya.
That would, someone being completely silent. I do a lot of voiceover and it's the same thing. Like, I can't see the engineers or the producers that I'm working with. It's all through Source Connect. So I'm only hearing. And so when I heard it's a new producer and they're more quiet and you're just sitting there in silence and you're like, don't freak out, don't freak out. You try to keep yourself.
We're actors. So like we all started in theater and that was in front of people clapping and telling you did a good job.
Absolutely.
And so we are constantly looking for that kind of validation. And I'm like more than happy to give it out in like droves.
I've heard you are one of the best complimenters. Like, that's been everyone who shoots with you. They're like, oh, you want to feel good? Go to a shoot with Beth. Like, you leave feeling like a fucking superstar. So I've heard your complimenting skills are next level, which does help. Like, it just helps people feel like the guard can be down and they could be themselves, which I think is why, again, their true authenticity. Even if someone's doing a similar pose over your two shoots, it feels so different because of how you're capturing the person that's sitting there. And I'm so curious, with the people who are coming to you for a shoot, is there like a general theme or themes that people are like, this is why I have to go to Beth? Like, I'm trying to achieve this thing, or this is what's missing, and Beth is my girl to get that for me.
There is actually like the amount of times clients walk through the door and set their stuff down and I'm like, what are we doing today? And I get an exasperated sigh of, I just want photos that look like me. Like, I did this, I did that, and I don't look like myself. I was stiff, I was this, that is like the common denominator every single time. I just want pictures that look like me on my best day. And that's it. That is the kind of thing that people come to me for, is to show exactly who they are. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the common denominator. And like a lot of times too, I would say it's 50-50. A lot of times people are like, I don't even need new pictures. I just really wanted to do this for myself because like I wanted to capture me and maybe use one for a website, maybe not, like IMDb, whatever it is. But like a lot of times people come to me and they're like, I just got new headshots. I love them, but I kind of want to do this too, just for me. So
yeah. That's such an interesting thing. I feel like I've done, oh my God, so many headshot shoots, obviously, over the decade plus of my career. And yeah, sometimes it can feel, unfortunately, a little bit manufactured. Like, you are trying to get these very specific things to accomplish a very specific goal that even if you love the pictures, you're like, oh, I just want something with like more breathing room, like more room to kind of like bust out of what these like very specific slices are in my headshots. So that totally makes sense that people are like, oh, dear God, just let's have some fun, shake it all off. And yeah, see what comes even from that. Because I think, I've done some commercial print jobs, but again, it's so specific for a certain product and the client, like everything's very manufactured. So even in all of my time, I feel like there's been so few shoots that it is just like a free for all, like true playtime to be like, let's see what we discover together. We both have no idea what that's going to be, but it's going to be epic.
And the best results come from people that are that open and ready to whatever. Like, majority of the clients come in and they're just automatically trust me and they're like, whatever you think, and I brought these outfits and let's go. And I'm like, great. That's when I can really flex my creative muscles and capture you and like tune into you, instead of feeling like we're in this rigid box and we have to get an 8x10 or your agents are going to be upset, like whatever it is.
Absolutely. I mean, you've done so many shoots now because you've obviously been running your business for some time. What are some of the most memorable shoots that you've had?
Let me think. I just recently did a shoot with my friend Ashley Dulaney. She's a great actress. Love her. So many people know and adore her. She's a working actress. And I actually felt like I'd been doing kind of similar photo shoots in the studio. And I wanted to flex a little bit more of my creative muscle. And so I reached out to her and I was like, I've got this idea. I found this space that I want to rent, and it's, kind of a retro feel. And it's got 3 or 4 different sets that are really color focused, and they're just like bright poppy. And I kind of had this vision for like a vintage retro inspired like editorial style shoot that's a little more styled and heightened than what Ashley would wear on a regular day. And I'm like, was putting together the Pinterest board, and I was just like, this is so cool that this is my job. Like, I'm pinning like photos that inspire me. I'm like, we're collaborating on a vision board and we're talking wardrobe and all these things. And so much planning went into that day that when it came, we just like seamlessly captured everything. And it was exactly as I had pictured it in my mind. And I was giddy because there was so much to work with. There was so much color. I was really experimental with kind of my angles, and that helped me grow as well as a photographer, because I'll get the photos back and look at them and be like, okay, this really worked and this really didn't. And that's great to know. And happy accidents kind of turn into new lighting techniques that I'll use now and all sorts of stuff. So that's probably one of the most memorable ones of late.
I've seen that one with, did she have like the purple boots?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. I requested those boots. I was like, get them on
So
Amazon and
good.
return them after the shoot, but we really need some purple.
We need this and it's such a cool purple too. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that shoot, that's so cool that you got to just have so much expansiveness within your own creativity. And I only know her through Instagram, but she seems like someone who's down to be like, okay, like let's go and do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. And it's cool that you get to, experiment. Like, it's like, you're like, this is my job, but like, I actually get to have so much freedom and play. And you are simultaneously an actor, a working actor, and a business owner. Both things ebb and flow, total circus, roller coaster, sometimes chaos, sometimes crickets, like all over the place. How do you deal with having 2 simultaneous professions that have so many ebbs and flows and like at times uncertainties?
Yeah. I wish I had a really good answer for it, because there's just no solution to the ebbs and flows of inherently this business, both of these businesses. I would say I wasn't equipped to do this right out of college or when I was in my 20s, because the biggest reason people can stay in this business as long as they can, the entertainment industry, is because of like exposure therapy. They're used to the ebbs and flow, and you just kind of learn to expect it at a certain point. It took me a long time to realize that the peaks and the valleys don't go away or get less severe. We just get better at managing them and managing the feelings around them. And I think having a strong sense of everything is going to be okay. My path is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. And the seasons where there isn't a lot going on and it's quiet are there for a reason. And maybe I need to rest, and maybe I need to focus on other things or create something for myself. If I am low on bookings for a month, I will absolutely be reaching out to people like Ashley. Like, I'll be reaching out and filling my own cup. Same with acting, like getting into classes, doing workshops, getting coffee with friends that are also in the business. Like, I've requested so many times to be on set as a BTS photographer for my friends' short films. That keeps me in the world. Like, all those things. It's just the only real answer I have to that is exposure therapy. I'm just kind of used to it, and it's taken many years to get to that point. But like, for people that are struggling with acclimating to that, it does get better. Your mentality adjusts.
Absolutely. Like you said, it's like that. And I relate immensely to it just by kind of being in the game and going through it. You do build up a resilience to be like, been here before. It was okay again. Like, the lows never stay low, the highs never stay high. Like, it is always this wave that we're all riding, and having friends in the industry help to be like, we're in it together. Like, whatever that looks like, we're all here in the trenches or riding the wave. And I think you mentioned, not being able to maybe handle both in your 20s when you were doing this. And same for me. I think that that's part of the learning, right? It's like in our 20s, we were so new to being able to hold the shifts that were coming. I mean, I remember you mentioned like the down periods or the quiet periods. I think before, when I was younger, I would maybe out of fear be like, okay, let's do everything. Let's almost have this giant push to be like, yes to all those classes, yet like almost manufacture some sort of like action or path forward because it felt so uncomfortable. Where now, being older and in my 30s, I'm like, okay, these are typically the moments for what do I need to like rebalance, recenter, take space, do something for myself, stay in the quiet a little bit longer. And like, usually it's like, those are the times I could be like, am I avoiding something? Why? Usually we find so many answers in that time, where I think in my early 20s, I was just like constant push, like push through it, don't accept it.
Yeah, you're like, if I stay still for too long, I'm going to freak out. So I got to keep moving.
Moving and still freaking out, but maybe the moving feels better because it's more chaotic and my frenetic energy has somewhere to go. Where now I'm like, this is nope, don't do it. This is the time to like sit with yourself. And yeah, there's so much good that can come from that, but it does take time to actually be able to feel okay through that process.
Yeah, that's the only thing, is that it takes time. Because when I was in my 20s, I was like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? You have to just keep going, and like you will get there. The only thing that will do it is the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Being in the game long enough, for sure. That, and creating that endurance, like having that endurance to be able to have the longevity. And I'm always so curious because, you know, I think as actors, we can be sensitive in a good way, like to be able to really feel the people that we're with, really feel ourselves. And you now owning a business, has owning your business impacted you as an actor? And whether that be how you feel about your craft or even how you feel about the business side of your acting?
Yeah, it's impacted it in so many ways. I mean, the biggest fear I had when starting this business was I didn't want it to take away from my acting career, but it's only added to it, which has been the best surprise. I have gotten to connect with so many people as not only their photographer, but also as a colleague. And a lot of my friends now used to be my clients, and we have helped connect each other to other people, not just, you know, photography purposes, but for acting, all sorts of stuff. I had a client reach out and she was like, hey, these people are looking for an actress for their play. I think you'd fit the bill. Like, why don't you submit for it? You know, that kind of stuff. I recently had a meeting with a director, a film director, who told me that, and I didn't even think about this, but he was like, that's such a valuable skill to have, the photography, the tech aspect of it, because you can understand focal length and you can understand framing and composition. And I was like, that's actually so true. I was on set for a short film a few years ago, and I was realizing as they were setting up the shot that I knew it was going to be a close-up before they came over and told me, because I knew what the focal length was. And those kinds of skills have impacted my acting career a lot, which has been great. And connecting with reps and casting directors and all these people that send me their people has been awesome. And when I had to take a break when I was doing the play at the Geffen, I had so many people reach out and say congratulations and come see the show and everything. And it was a great showcase for me too, to be like, I'm an actor too. And yeah, it's been beyond what I expected.
Which is so amazing. So amazing. And like you said, I feel like, to me, it just feels like an outpouring of like love and support and creativity and community that you get to share with people and they get to share with you. And I'm so curious, Beth, I was thinking about this. I have a couple of friends who either are actors or some sort of creative in the entertainment industry. And they have an actual job, or they're starting their own creative business and side hustle. And they have a lot of stress almost for like the scheduling unknowns. Like when you were like, I'm going to do this shoot day, or I have this thing, or you're taking on certain clients, but we all know, like, we can never predict an audition. That audition then will have all of these filming dates. Like, how do you navigate the scheduling aspect of these two things that obviously with your shoots, I feel like there's probably much more prep and being able to solidify something. But obviously with acting, it can come at a moment's notice. What is that process like?
Yeah, thankfully I haven't had to like reschedule a ton of stuff due to acting, which is, you know, I'm crossing my fingers. All my clients know that I'm an actor, so they do expect, and I've had clients reschedule their own shoots because they booked a commercial or whatever. And so it does go both ways. Also, there's some power in saying to your reps, I'm busy that day. Can we do this day? That is a terrifying thing to do as an actor, really trying to like come up and, you know, you are kind of desperate for a job at many times, but I have said, can we actually do tomorrow? Like if they have appointments available tomorrow, that would be great. And then they're like, yeah, sure. It's really no big deal. And if they say no, then they say no, and I make it work, and I'll film the audition at 10 at night and send it in as soon as I can. Or if I can't make the Zoom appointments, I'll tape instead, things like that. But I do try to prioritize my acting career as much as I can. And I also don't book out super far. So I book about a month in advance, and that makes it a little bit more manageable for me in terms of like anxiety and like the mental aspect of it, to know that like, okay, I only have 3 weeks of bookings, and then I'm going to open it up for the next month, and then, you know, so on and so forth.
As opposed to you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing in October. I cannot have something on my calendar.
I know that's why I don't do weddings. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing in May of 2026. Like,
Great point. I didn't think about why you might have not done weddings, but I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense, because people are booking 6 months, a year in advance, and you're like, I have no
the most important day of people's lives. I'm like, I think I'm good. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and then you're like, and I booked something, and like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I also have a few photographer friends that I'll recommend if I'm unavailable, and I'll send them their way. So it's always good to have referrals available.
I think what's so cool about what you said too, Beth, because I've struggled with this. I think every actor has, because there's so much of your career where they're like, oh God, all this shit that was like perpetuated to us when we were young actors. These are the rules, and like none of them are true. And it's like, be available, be easy to work with. Don't fuck up a table read, you'll get fired. Like all this stuff that is so based in fear and not true at all. Where I think I've had the feeling before of like, if I ask for this, it'll come off as high maintenance. And then now I'm like, no, they ask me for stuff. Like we're a team here. So can I just request back? And if it won't work, we'll figure it out. But it's like, why would that be considered high maintenance or rude or not adaptable? It's not at all.
And also especially in this economy, everyone knows that people have to have full-time jobs to be able to support themselves. And they, especially at this point in the industry too, it's very slow. People have got to do what they have to do. And casting is on your side. Like they will absolutely, if I book a job, I can't be like, can we move the shoot date? I'm not doing that, but they understand. And if they request an appointment from you, like they are rooting for you. They want you to make them look good too. So yeah, it's like not a secret that everybody has to do what they need to do.
For sure. And I mean, we know from being in the industry, like casting directors are typically freelance too. It's like we're all kind of truly teammates in the grand scheme of things, operating the same way, trying to help each other. And, they're operating their own business. We're operating our own business as an actor. And I think you could take this question as an actor or as a photographer, however you'd like to. But in regards to thinking about yourself like a business owner, are there certain things that you feel like, yes, got a handle on that, feel really good about how I do that as a business owner? And are there certain things where you're like, I could clean that up? That could be improved upon.
Oh my God, yes. As far as what I'm good at, I think in the actual shooting and connecting with my clients is like number one. That's like the thing that I'm the best at. And making people feel comfortable, I think, is one of my strengths. I'm also very a pretty type A. I'm very organized. I keep my inbox at 0. I think scheduling, admin, all of that is like a strong suit of mine for sure. As far as things I struggle with, it is definitely, I'm a one-woman show, and that is really hard, especially not in terms of the workload, but in terms of like self-motivation and discipline. It can be hard. There's no one holding you accountable but yourself. And that is very hard, especially when you're dealing with any sort of mental health struggles, which I have in the past. And there have been times where photography has fallen by the wayside because I just couldn't do it and focused on other things. And then, it's come back around. But that's been the main thing. Although of late, it's been less of a struggle for sure, because, just a myriad of circumstances that have pushed me to be like, this is my full-time job. It was my part-time job for a long time. And it was really hard to motivate, especially I used to work in a restaurant and getting home at 11 at night and then waking up to do a shoot the next day. And it's like, I barely have the energy to post on social media. I'm just trying to get the shoot done and get it edited and sent off in a timely manner. And that's definitely the hardest part, is self-motivation, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And especially when it's like, it is all you. Like you said, one woman show, like you're doing the editing, you're doing the prep, you're your own marketing manager, like you are every piece of your business. And then obviously you're still a person and need to take care of yourself, and you're an actor. And that's like operating, not only that business, but we know kind of what the creative, energetic shifts are needed to be so present and show up as our best self and be available for anything that's required of acting. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things, like you said, just like with acting, certain things will become easier just because of doing it over time and building up that resilience. And other things will always be not challenging per se, but something that we have to be available to the shifts of I'm not feeling good today. Actually, like, what do I need for me? Because posting on Instagram or trying to do this to-do list that I have for my business is not it today. And like, how can I be okay with that?
Yeah, totally. And not beat yourself up. It's not a definition of who you are at all.
Me and Amy McNabb were talking about different types of like motivation and accountability and discipline. And we were joking because Ashley Pollard, who we were both doing Square One with, she'll sometimes be like, have a reward. Like at the end of the week, if you get it done, like take yourself out for a fancy dinner or get a massage. I'm like, that will not work for me. I will literally run to get a massage right now just to show you why I don't need to wait. And like Amy is the same way. I was like, yeah, reward system does not work. And we were talking about, I did a half marathon earlier this year. And I'm like, when I know I have to be there on that day, it is so much easier through like the prep. Like I know I'm like March 13th. It's the day, like it's happening. So what do I have to do? It's so much easier when I'm accountable to a date or something specific. Because left to my own devices, I was like, I'm eating a great steak dinner tonight with wine and getting a massage. You can't tell me different.
Oh my God, I've done the same. I was like, I think I'll take the afternoon off and like go shopping. Like I totally.
Yeah, I will reward myself just because I feel restricted from not being able to.
Yeah, but then it's all about balance, right? So like if you are balancing and resting when, and listening to yourself, don't feel that compulsive need to, oh my God, I have to have a vacation.
It's exactly, for sure. The seeking balance, or my therapist and I were always like, she's like, it's rebalancing. It's like, there's never a perfect balance. We're constantly just like rebalancing whatever is there for whatever is meant for that day. But if you were to give a piece of advice to a creative or an entertainer that is trying to build a side hustle and start from square one, what are some things that you'd want to share with them?
I think Ashley would back me up on this. Well, I know she would back me up on this, but I would say just get the plane off the runway. Like just stop waiting for it to be perfect and tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. When you get it to be like pretty functional, announce it, start it, because you can fix as you go. The amount of times I've rebranded my logo has been comical. People recognize the name. They know, they're not like, wait, who is this? They know who it is. People understand that that's part of a business is evolution. And so you don't be embarrassed or let fear get in the way of just starting and doing it, because it's going to take a long time. Like it takes consistency. And that is the other thing I would say is just keep fucking going. Just keep going. Like I can't tell you the amount of times I thought, like maybe it's just, I don't know. But I just kind of kept going and took bookings as they came, just kept posting. And every time I shot somebody, more of their network would see me and then they would follow me. And it's like a ripple effect. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't just keep going. That's really the easiest part. And it doesn't mean, like if it's not a smash success at all times, it doesn't mean it's a failure at all. That's part of a business. And that's the thing about social media too, is the highlight reel. And you think that it's easy and it's all going to be success, and it's not. It is so up and down. And the only thing that's consistent is you continuing on. And that's exactly what you have to do. And like the amount of times you've seen people, I have a friend who does this. She's amazing. She's a custom wig maker. And she's posting constantly like on reels, just, like day in my life, or here's how to do this lace on this wig. And for like years, I followed her making this content. In just the last 2 months, she has absolutely blown up and is like getting consistent views, so many clients. And I was like, I messaged her and I was like, you go girl. Like I have been watching you from the jump. Like I've done her photos before. And I was like, I am so happy that like you are popping off because you absolutely deserve it. She's like, it's been a journey.
Well, and I think there's so many great things that you just described, Beth, because part of it is that it's so vulnerable to start and to start sharing and putting yourself out there. We're all afraid of the judgment, the rejection, it not being a success, whatever success means for us. And yet I think we have so much knowledge and data to know that like action is the only way to actually, even like you said, some things might not be a smash success, but because of doing it, and then you can like pivot or readjust. And like the only way you even find out what you like, what you don't like, what works, what doesn't work is from doing it and from like testing and seeing. And I feel like Ashley always brought up this one thing too, where she'd be like, okay, how long do you see yourself doing this? And you're like, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years. Okay, let's say 15 years. Then this is like such a short little blip in that 15-year journey. Like if you really want to do this for 15 years, this is 2 seconds of the whole thing. So like keep going, like just keep going and carry on. And I got my life coaching certification a couple years ago, and the guy who started the company would say, we're building the bus as we're driving it.
Yes.
Like we're driving the bus and then we're like putting a new wheel on and then we're making the seats. We're not waiting for the bus to be like perfectly functional. We are actively driving it as we're building whatever it's going to look like.
Yeah. And also like living in the like positive in terms of the fear of, oh my gosh, I've changed so many things, this and that. I love to think like how awesome it is that like I get to choose exactly what I do. Like I used to do mini sessions. I don't do them anymore. I love that I get to make that call and I don't have to ask anybody. It's my decision.
You make the rules.
I make the rules. And like, instead of panicking and thinking, oh my God, I can't get it together, think how awesome it is that I get to build this and like I get to make every decision. That's amazing. That's the level of control that you don't really get as an actor. You're constantly asking, and it's nice to have a part of my career where I'm not asking, I'm just doing.
Totally. And the permission asking in our careers. And it's funny, I've seen it as an adult. I feel like so much of what I've had to personally work on, part of it is like unraveling this need of like permission from my partner, my mom. I'm like, I'm 32 years old. One of my good friends recently, like she was doing a podcast and she asked someone like, about permission, and this girl's creating a lot of like very interesting, intense content, and the girl's like, permission from who? It's me, it's my life. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. But I think for, you know, the careers that we have, especially in voiceover, I'm working with a client right now and it is just a blessing, but I've never had more day of sessions in my entire life where they're like, hey, what's your afternoon looking like? And I was like, well, I was going to do all of this, but like, I mean, I've been working with them for 2.5 years. So it's great. Like we have a system. I know how they operate. I think through their internal changes, things have just shifted where it's very fast paced. It's very quick. It's very urgent from the time things get approved by the legal department to when they're going live. And so in all of that, it's like, you're constantly just okay, like I can ask for adjustments of like, I can't do these times, but maybe around them. But even that's taken a long time to be able to have those boundaries because so much of it is given to us. And it's like, how can you make this work? And you're like, we will see. We'll see what happens in an hour from now. So yeah, it's so nice to have that like, I'm the boss, I call the shots, and I get to make this look like what I want to. And Beth, as you're thinking about from where you started, I know you even just mentioned like not doing mini sessions anymore. If you're thinking about from where you started to where you are now, what's been one of the biggest pivots that you've made in your business?
Oh my gosh. I feel like there's so many actually. Like when I think back, biggest pivot probably happened recently actually. When I found out that I booked the show at the Geffen, I felt like I was given kind of a golden opportunity, which was I was able to quit my restaurant job finally. And when the show ended, I was like, this is my opportunity to not go back to the restaurant ever and to really, really commit to this because I just wasn't able to mentally in the last probably 2 or 3 years. It was like a real struggle for me. And I upgraded all my gear again. I switched systems, which is, and any photographer knows is a big deal. I switched from Nikon to Sony, and I had followed some photographers that I love in New York that I adored their work. And I was like, this is kind of the vibe I really want to start capturing. Like, it's time for me to take it to the next level in terms of my lighting technique and my editing and all the things. And so I invested a lot of money into new gear and lighting equipment. And I had a couple friends over to my apartment and we just tested it out, which was just brand new for me. And it's, as an actor, you know, like it's so many numbers and math. And I'm like, I was so afraid of it for so long because I was like, I don't know. I'm not a tech girl. Like, I just want to have fun. I just want to make people feel good. That's the part that I'm really passionate about. The gear. I'm not a gearhead. I'm not a technical photographer. And I was like, it's time. Like, it's time to buckle down. It's time to really learn some new stuff and not avoid what I've been avoiding for so long and really capture at the level that I want to capture. And that was a huge thing for me. I felt like I was starting from square one. The way that I had been shooting for 4 years professionally, and I felt like I was starting from square one all over again, was a huge pivot for me. I redid my logo again, and I learned this new camera, which felt like learning a foreign language. I was on YouTube University, like figuring out how each little adjustment changes everything in a photo. I completely redid my editing style. I finally got a new computer where I was able to upgrade to all of the new features where you can like change, you have AI on your side, which is very helpful for things like removing little things or changing things. It changed everything. It absolutely changed my business. Like I now am so comfortable with lighting, which I was not at all. I was primarily natural light photographer, and now I'm like primarily studio light photographer. Yeah, that was the biggest pivot for me, was switching over all of that and like finally having the free time after this show ended to fully commit, because I knew what I had to do for 2 years. I knew what I had to do, but I didn't have the time or the bandwidth or money or the energy, any of that. And I was like, someday I'm going to really buckle down. I'm going to do this and I'm going to pivot in this way. And I was like, now's the time. I got to do it. And like jumping off that cliff, buying that gear, having it come, learning it. All of a sudden, I have this heavy new camera in my hands. I'm like, what do I do with this? Oh my God. Like now I actually have to do this. This is crazy. But it was like the best thing I could have ever done for my business and for myself, because I really took it into my own hands. And I think also energetically committing to that and like committing to myself was huge confidence booster. And it's like people can feel it. Like a lot of my clients that have shot with me before have been like, there's something going on here. Like you're really leveled up and it's amazing. And I'm like, thank you so much. So yeah, it was, as Taylor Swift said, it's been a long time coming, but I finally did it. So yeah.
Took the leap. Beth, I was getting chills as you were talking because it felt like a renaissance. Like it felt like it's like, here we are, like this new reclaiming, leveling up, like new introduction with the new logo. I mean, and again, like the bravery, because you're like, it's like when we have that little thing that's like poking at us inside and we're like, oh, I hear you, I see you. But if I answer the call I don't even know how to answer that call right now because like I'm too busy. I will be burnt out. It can't fit. And then all of a sudden there's this moment of readiness. Mm-hmm. And we have that moment to be like, I feel the moment of readiness. Do I fucking jump and take it? Or do I sit here and then in 6 months I take it because I know I'm going to have to take it at some point? So I love that you just dove face first into it. And what's been able to come from it sounds like monumental growth. Personally and professionally.
Huge. Yeah. And the thing that kept me going through that thing, because again, like we don't see the difficult moments of after you press go, like that's not romanticized ever. And those are the moments that like really define you as like a business owner or not. And the thing I kept saying to myself was, if it was easy, everyone would do it. Okay. And there's a reason why not everybody is doing this right now, is because it's hard and it's supposed to be. I had this thing like the universe is asking me, is challenging me. Can you do this? And I want to answer and say, yes, I can.
Yeah. And see what can come from that, the possibilities and the opportunities that like you're gifting to yourself by saying yes. And I love that you use the word romanticize, because one of my friends, he was an actor, now he's a therapist. And so we talked in depth about that kind of being the biggest rub for most people in the entertainment industry, is we have this like beautiful, glossy, gorgeous, romantic image of what success will feel like, the climb to success will feel like. And then some of it's beautiful, but it's not what we thought it was going to look like. So we have to like embrace these new things. And part of it's embracing the fact that it's, oh yeah, that was like very romantic and beautiful, but like that's not it. And that's okay. And what is it? And how can I like be more grateful and appreciative of the moments of like, holy shit, I'm looking at this new camera and all these numbers. Like this is part of it. This is it, as much as when I'm actually comfortable using it and I have that new energy that I'm taking to a shoot. And so I just love that. I've had a couple colleagues or friends recently that it's hard when you just feel like you're so just in the trenches of it. Again, like knowing that you have to be there to get through to like that next level or that next thing, but it's fucking hard.
Yeah. And it's like, it's same with acting. Is I had an acting teacher that said this to me, and I think it applies to everything, which is it's a video game. So when you get to the next level, it's harder. It gets harder.
Yes.
Because you kind of think, especially in acting, oh, once I get this, once I book this, then I'll be whatever. No, you're still going to be you. You're just you with a job now. It's hard. Yeah, that's really a huge thing I think about. Like it's supposed to be hard because you've leveled up. So now the level's harder.
The video game analogy is always, because you're like, that's exactly it. Yeah. All of a sudden you're like, as you're getting in the groove, you're like, oh, now there's a new dragon, or now there's like a new tool that I have also, which makes slaying the dragon easier, but the dragon's bigger for sure. The video game analogy is perfection. And I'm so curious, Beth, because obviously I feel like you've been committed to your dream as an actor for a long time and also as a photographer, because you've been shooting portraits for 10 years. If you were to look back at like a younger version of yourself, let's say 18-year-old Beth, what would she think about where you're at right now and what you're doing?
Oh my gosh. I think she would be really happy. I think she would be kind of surprised because everybody graduating or, that age, you think that you're the exception. And, you're like, well, they haven't seen me yet for this row, da, 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 da. You think that you're going to be an instant success and you quit. And some people are, and that's amazing. But you quickly learn that it is about luck and timing and staying in the business as long as you can. And consistency and everything. And so I think she would be like, oh, okay, interesting. Didn't expect the pivot to photography, but I think she would be really proud that like I have taken my life into my own hands in this way. And that being a business owner, my mom's an entrepreneur. She always has been. And so I think that would be a huge thing to be like, wow, following in mom's footsteps. That's, kind of the bug I caught. And I think she would be really happy. And I'm still with the same reps that I got out of the showcase. I've been with him for 9.5 years. And
oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah, we adore each other. And I think my 18-year-old self would be very happy to hear that. And to hear the stories of the things that I've either gone out for, or gotten close to, or, almost booked or all these things. I think she would be really, really proud. And also like to make a difference in people's lives. That's the thing that really, I think, sets photography apart from acting for me is I feel like I'm really contributing something when I'm doing photography because people leave. I'm not only giving people materials to help advance their careers, but like I'm also helping people feel amazing about themselves. That is so rewarding in an industry that's constantly telling you no. To have an hour and a half, 2 hours of someone telling you yes constantly and emphatically is such a rewarding thing. And I think she would be proud that I'm doing that.
Absolutely. I mean, what a way to, like you said, empower so many people. Like I think everyone. And again, I know a lot of people have shot with you and they leave just feeling like, fuck yes, I got this. Like I feel sexy. I could take on the world. And what a gift that you're able to provide that for people. And it doesn't just end that day. They then get these awesome photos where they maybe are seeing themselves for the first time like that they get to like share and spread however they want to into the world and just have other people then be like, fuck yeah, you are sexy and awesome. And that photo, like I know my friend Megan just shot with you and I saw those photos of her and I was like, oh my God, Megan, it's like literally her heart and like her spirit and energy, like outside of her in like how she's being captured. And I was like, what a gift that people who maybe don't know Megan see these photos and are like, I know who you are from seeing these photos. So yeah, I mean, I think for actors, you're doing the Lord's work for sure. Because we do need that in an industry where there is a lot of positivity, but there's just a lot of no and a lot of rejection. And what's so funny too, Beth, I've also been with my agency for 9.5 years.
Oh my God, I love
And so as you said this, I was like, interesting.
So cool. You should be so proud. Like,
yeah, it's my voiceover agency. I've definitely, on the theatrical side, I've bounced around quite a bit, but my voiceover agency, in November, it'll be a decade that I'm with them.
And I was looking at your voiceover work. It's so good, Maddie.
Oh, thank you, Beth. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you for even taking a look, because I think voiceover is such something, and this is why I told you when I am next in LA visiting. I lived in LA for a very long time, but I live on the East Coast now. I was like, I'm going to shoot with you, and I'm so excited. Like the second I have my tickets, I'll be like, Beth, we're booking it, because I think doing voiceover, my agency used to have booths at the agency that we'd go into audition with. So for the first 6 or 7 years, you're going in, working with a booth director who's like giving you feedback, giving you direction. You're with all your friends because you end up making all these friends. So it's like a massive community that you're instantly inserted into. And even when I would go to audition, you're not worried about booking it. You're like, I just had a great conversation with my friend and now I'm working with this awesome booth director that I love. Like so unconcerned with anything else. And then COVID happened. And now we were all like, okay, you need an at-home studio. Because of technology, it's as simple as like a decent walk-in closet with a couple blankets thrown up and like a decent microphone. It's not complicated. It doesn't have to be, but we're alone all the time. And then what happened is even when people started going, like COVID was kind of over with the social distancing aspect, it was so much cheaper for them to keep us at home. So now it'll, sometimes you'll see if in LA could come to studio or use Source Connect, or New York or whatever the big market that they're actually working out of is. But I haven't been in a studio unless I was traveling and needed to do work. Like we were at the Super Bowl and they're like, I was in a studio in New Orleans and I'm like, this is so cool. I forgot what it's like to like go in and not be my own engineer and not on a job, but for auditions, like my own editor, my own director, like picking what take. And so part of it, voiceover is such like a quiet success because no one even knows you do it unless you are sharing it. So I've been unraveling like the fear of being seen and being heard and being like, nope, like here's my reintroduction into whatever it is I want to share. But that's something I love about your photos. And that's why I'm so attracted to them is there's this just like boldness to how people are showing up in them. And I think that's what I've been like reestablishing within myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. And whenever you come to LA, you know where to find me. We will definitely shoot.
I know. And that's the thing. I won't be like, I booked my ticket in 3 months. I'll be like, we'll tentatively plan. But watch, I'll be the one person. I'm like, Beth, this is very important to me. You're like, okay, I'll only book a month out.
Yeah, actually, it's so funny. Like Sam Valentine, I shot their retreat for the membership.
Yes,
And
I saw that.
Yeah, we were going over like all of the schedule. It was a very, intense couple of days that I was shooting for them. At the end of the call, she was like, can't wait to see what we book for us to cancel this. And I was like, I love that you get it.
Yeah. And that is the best part is we all get it in the industry. So that's at least the nice part. Like when people are now like, oh, I'm so sorry I had to cancel. I'm like, it's okay. I'm so unbothered by the shifting of schedules or things like that.
Yeah.
I'm so curious too, Beth, this could be answered personally or professionally. What ways in which have you changed in the last year?
Oh my gosh, hugely, hugely. Like I touched on this a little bit, but yeah, I had a really rough 2 years before this. First of all, I got on the right medication for antidepressants. Thank you. Love that. That was life-changing for sure. And I kind of had this belief in the back of my head that like, a lot of negative self-talk, like in the past being like, I don't think I can do it. It's not working. All these things, like a lot of life circumstances that I kind of let bleed into my professional world. And after I think I had 3 years of unemployment for acting. That was really tough. And I consider myself somebody that is I told my manager when we first signed, I am in this for the long haul. And I recently had a call with him the other day and I was like, do you remember when I said I'm in this for the long haul? I wasn't fucking kidding. I am here. Yeah. And I feel like, even as somebody with that mindset, 3 years of unemployment is like hard. And it really started to, as much as I didn't want it to, it really started to kind of affect the way that I viewed myself. And then slowly with time and after finding out that I booked this job, I kind of came back to myself, which is the best. It's been like the most transformative year of my life. And like the way that I'm able to be motivated and believe in myself again, especially not just because of this job I had, but also because of like I was saying with the photography stuff, like proving to myself that I can do it, that I can level up. All of these things has increased my confidence so much in the self-talk that I have, which is, even when I'm out and about, like meeting new people, like saying I'm a photographer instead of saying, but I also kind of like work at a part-time and I this and that, like claiming it and saying that and talking myself through that has been like the most transformative thing ever. And I'm like, I knew I could rise above. And in a way, part of me knew I needed to wait until I was ready to do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, Beth, it's funny that you say that specifically because my therapist and I were recently having a conversation about readiness. That was the word that she kept using. And I was like, wow, again, it's that difference between being capable of making that change and of that transformation, but knowing that if there's not that readiness, you're kind of like almost hurting yourself because you're kind of running yourself into a brick wall, as opposed to like when it does open up and you're like, oh, I've been capable and now my capable and my readiness are like meeting each other in this beautiful way where I'm actually ready to answer the call and claim that and like change the identity that was around that or whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's just, we just had this conversation this past week and I'm like, readiness. It's been like in my head a lot.
Yeah, it's huge. Also, okay, I have completely changed my mind about my own opinion of my work. Like I've completely changed the way that I view it because I now no longer look at it as a fluke or look at it as, I don't know, I just kind of have like this kind of eye and I sort of do a lot in editing that makes up for whatever. No, I don't do that anymore. I've changed my mind about that and I've changed the way that I talk about it, and claiming my worth in that way has been the biggest thing. Being like, yeah, I am able to do it. And this is the value that I bring. And it's not just a fluke every time. Like I've consistently been able to capture people in this way. And like, I don't have a photography degree. That doesn't mean that I'm not a professional and that I can't do it. That's something I've changed my mind about.
For sure, like redefining what that means for yourself to like be a professional. That's going to be like the tagline in my head today is like claiming your worth, claiming my worth. That's so beautiful. What like a good crown to wear. You're like, yes.
So true.
I'm having so much fun with you, Beth, and we're on our last couple questions, which makes me so sad.
This is so fun.
That's why I have to ask. Cause I'm like, I looked at the time and I'm like, oh my God, see, this is why. Cause I could talk to you for like 3 more hours. Here we go. Is there anything that you're afraid of? Like if you're laying there and you're having one of those like sleepless nights, you're tossing and turning, and there's kind of that thing circling, keeping you up at night. What's that thing for you?
I really live in fear of having a dip again, like I did the last 2 years.
For sure.
That is a huge thing that I talk about in therapy a lot, is the fear of that, because it felt so out of my own control. And, you know, it was a mix of like my own like chemical imbalance and also circumstances in my life that made it difficult, that were out of my control. Both were out of my control. And I really am afraid of that because I saw kind of how it affected my health and my business and the way I live my life. But I saw this quote recently that was like, the you in the future is capable of handling that. Like maybe now, like if you're afraid of something happening in the future, in the past, you've always been able to handle it. So like, you know, maybe me right now couldn't handle it, but me in however many years, that person will have many years behind me of life experience and she'll be able to handle whatever gets thrown at her. Trusting that is huge. Yeah.
And what I'm thinking of too, Beth, thank you for sharing that, because I think that I resonate. There's like a period of time too that it's almost like if I close my eyes, I don't know why I always describe it this way. My husband was asking me, but it's like you could taste it on the back of your tongue. You know what I'm saying? It's gone and it's there, but it's not like present and forward, but it's like there, and I'm like aware that it's there, and it doesn't feel like this dark cloud, like I'm worried it's going to rain at any moment, but it's just like this deep awareness of like, I know what that tasted like on such an intimate level, and like it hasn't fully ever left. Like I'm just so aware of the circumstances around it. But I think even to your point, even if handling it this past time was really challenging, like you did in whatever way you were capable of, and found new tools and new support systems and new ways. And so that's such a beautiful thing, is that even if it was so shitty, even if it was 2 years sustained so shitty, you wouldn't be where you are now if you didn't handle it.
Yes,
you know?
I think about that all the time. Like I'm actually so grateful that I had that period, because I would not have gotten to the point. Like I say I live in fear, but it's also my biggest motivator, is I will not ever go back to that place. And I will do everything in my power not to. And like, yeah, having that behind me as like a experience that I know I never want to live again is the biggest and best motivator. And I'm like grateful every single day for it.
Yeah. It is funny how that happens. Like typically it's the thing that is the thing we're most afraid of, and yet the thing that's like our fire with it. So it like coexists in the exact same way.
Try to bring me down, bitch. Like
try, see what happens.
Exactly.
Beth, what's the messiest thing about you?
Oh my gosh, the messiest thing about me, which it's not many things, because like I said, I'm very organized, like type A, like probably my dating life. We won't get into that.
Fair.
Definitely. Like the messiness has to come out some way. And that would be, and I think my friends would attest to that. Like definitely, like all my friends are either married, engaged, or are having children. And I'm like, you know, they're like, we can't decide which preschool to get. And I'm like, he won't text me back. So like, yeah, that's probably the messiest thing.
From living in LA for a long time, dating in LA is hard. And I hate to be the person, because I know that that's like an excuse. And people are like, well, but I'm married now. And we technically met in a different city, but then like re-met in LA. But like, if you asked me before we met, mine would be dating too.
Oh my God,
is a wreck.
The trenches out here, but like I find it entertaining as well. Like I'm so happy. Like, and every time I have a struggle of some sort in the dating world, I always think, okay, I have a business to run. Like I'm busy.
Wait over here. Like, oh, you're bringing me back. I'm like having like flashes of memories, and I'm like, oh my God, it's very entertaining. Very entertaining.
And so fun. That's the thing, is that like, I love being single. I adore it. I think it's so fun. But yeah, it's a messy time over here. Like for sure.
Yeah. I'm like with you. When we do our shoot together, we can share bad dating stories, and we'll be laughing on the floor, like literally rolling on the floor laughing.
Yeah, so
together.
like I have like a PowerPoint presentation, like actually ready to go with like the crazy jaw-dropping story.
Oh, this will be epic. Okay, I'm like putting a mental pin in that because that has to happen for both of us.
Please.
It'll be the best shoot ever for me. I'll be like, I can't believe what this is evoking out of me right now.
All your photos are going to be you like, oh,
yeah. Just shocked the entire time. What are you most excited about right now, personally or professionally?
I'm really excited. I've wanted to kind of pivot a little bit into more creative shoots and as opposed to studio, the studio shoots are so fun, love them so much, and they're really useful for my clients that book them. But I really get invigorated by when people come to me with a concept. And so like the one that I did with Ashley, I just had a friend of mine come to me with this awesome idea for doing a bowling alley shoot because he likes to bowl and he wants to turn that into content on the internet, which I think is so cool. Stuff like that. I just shot another branding client who her podcast is called Mommywood. It's like moms and Hollywood. And I did her branding photos and we did it at her apartment and got to get all the stuffies out and like just we had so much fun. And it's like that sort of creative stuff that pushes me outside of my limits is like kind of where I want to start leaning some more energy into. And so that's what I'm really, really excited about coming up for sure.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Ooh, I saw the Mommywood shots. Those were so great. I can't wait. I can't wait to see like.
I cannot wait to post them here. So fun. To the point where like, that's my favorite feeling is when I'm like, take a photo and I look at the back of my camera and I'm like, oh, like that is the best. So yeah. And she's been, I took her maternity photos. I took her newborn photos and now now she's 3. And I'm like, and now I'm watching her mom level up and with her podcast and her business, and she's watching me level up too. It's like this amazing moment coming up together.
And how cool for you guys to share that together, where you're like, we've taken these like different snapshots of the seasons of life together. That's wild.
So fun. It's so cool.
Hanging out with you, even though it's virtually, has been so much fun. And I've been hanging out with you online unknowingly to you for a long time. Where could people, you're so welcome. Where could people come hang out with you and follow along on your journey?
Yeah. So my Instagram is mariposa.pictures. And that's really where I post, as much as I can. I'm starting to kind of lean towards more personal content with it. Like I'm getting more brave at talking to the camera and like posting what I'm doing throughout the day and everything. And so that's kind of a fun way to follow me. And that's where all the announcements are for like when I open my books up for the next month and when clients, tag me in their photos. And, I don't get the chance to post everything on my grid. So that's a great way to kind of get a look at my work is my stories there. And then my website, which is mariposapics.com. And I keep it pretty up to date and I'm really proud of it. I built it myself and
you keep it very up to date. Because as I was prepping for this interview, I saw all of the event photos from Sam, like all the new stuff. I was like, the girl is on it. I was like, she is so up to date.
I know. I now have a checklist of like, okay, when you finish a gallery, like you can't just press send and like go have a drink. Here are the things you need to do. Like put the photos together for the website, put them together for this, put them together for that. And then it's a whole thing that now I put my system in place to make it easier on myself. And
you've got the systems down. Systems down you've got. But anybody will obviously link everything in the show notes. And I cannot wait for people to get to follow along with all of the awesome shoots that you've been doing. And Beth, this was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me. And I can't wait to have this conversation in the world.
Thank you so much for having me. You're just an awesome interviewer. And I just have enjoyed so much.
Thanks,
You're such a light. And I feel like so connected to you, even from afar.
I know.
And your voice is so nice to listen to.
Thank you so much. Betsy, great complimenter. I'm going to leave on a high today just from this conversation.
Me too.
You're the best.
Thank you so much, Maddie.
You're the real hero if you've made it this far. Thanks so much for hanging out today, and check out the show notes for any resources or cool info mentioned in today's episode, or places to follow along if you want to hang out some more. I'm rooting for you today and always. Stay messy.